Do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. Maybe you and me. Do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. Hey, maybe you and me. Now, I don't actually have an anniversary, so maybe there's some lover out there, some best friends. I don't know what the context of the relationship is. Maybe it's a work anniversary, but happy anniversary to you, because it's somebody's anniversary out there. So, hey, that song is for you. Because I don't know why that song's been stuck in my head all day, and I don't know why I felt inclined to sing it for y'all, but you're welcome. Welcome to another episode of Single with a Purpose. It's your host, Karen Elizabeth. So elated that you're here and listening and being purposeful with your life. No, really, I am so thankful that you guys tune in to hear, the different stories and testimonies that women are writing in and sharing with us here on the podcast. And thank you so much for trusting me to give you feedback on these things. I really appreciate you. But today in this episode, we have something that's a little bit different. Today, I just want to start off by talking about a topic which is a hot topic in the social media realm, which is solo travel. Solo travel is a big phenomenon. Like if you were to hashtag solo travel on Instagram, look on Facebook groups, or even to go on Twitter, you'll find that there is a big movement of people who are encouraging one another to pack up and go alone on their own trip with no one else, with no distractions, to travel as freely as they want, to pick up and move and change their destination like they change pants. Solo travel has become a big phenomenon. The idea that you don't need to wait on your friends, family, or for a loved one or your significant other to go out and to experience the world, but you can do it yourself as a solo traveler. And there's a big movement behind it. Hashtag solo travel on Instagram or Twitter, and you're going to see so many different people who are making this movement big and a phenomenon around the world. And myself included, I participated in this. And today I want to talk a little bit about what are some of the pros and cons of solo travel, and is solo travel for you? Because personally, I believe that solo travel is not for everyone. And so the operational definition that we are going to roll with here for solo travel is one person that is traveling alone to another destination, but they are doing it because they desire an adventure, and maybe no one wanted to go with them, or maybe they just wanted to go by themselves. Everyone has their different reasons. But the question that we're going to be talking about today is solo travel for you? There are many different debates and opinions about solo travel and if it's actually beneficial to people. And for those of us who are single and solo traveling, does it actually make us undateable? Which I think is an interesting conversation for us to have. But personally, I find that solo travel is, it has its pros and cons. Yeah, you can be self-indulgent. You can go wherever you want. You can eat whenever you want. You're not confined to anyone's schedule or, what they want to do, but you live based off how you feel in that moment. And, for me, that could be pros and cons, because in the moment I could feel like, man, I'm in this great brand new city, or, this great city that's rich with history, but I would rather go lay in my hotel room. Whereas if I was with someone else, they might be like, no, let's go out and go do this and see this and da da da. So, it could yield its own pros and cons for sure. But my experiences with solo travel, I cannot say that I have purely, outside of moving to China, solo travel, because in each of my experiences where I'm traveling to the destination alone, once I arrive at the destination, I am meeting other people who I've known previously prior to leaving for the trip. you know, and I have a very bittersweet experience with it. Like my first time that I traveled to another destination solo, I was meeting up and reconnecting with some people that I hadn't seen in a very long time. And, you know, I ended up getting really sick on that trip and, you know, having, you know, it was a 7-day vacation and I ended up confined to my room for 4 of those days with the stomach flu, throwing up, sick, and just, you know, purging and unable to keep anything down. And at that time, I missed my family so incredibly, and I wished I was home, despite the fact that I was in this crazy nice hotel suite in sunshiny Florida. You know, there was nothing that felt like home in that moment. And then another instance where I traveled solo was, well, my brother lives in Las Vegas, and so I was there visiting him on vacation. And I was like, well, I want to do something different. I want to do something that no one does while they're in Vegas. And so I started like looking for different tours and adventures I could go on, and I found a helicopter ride to the Grand Canyon, and I was like, that is it. And so I booked a solo flight, and I was terrified. You know, I booked the flight initially, and then like an hour later I canceled it because I was too afraid to get on the helicopter, you know, afraid, thinking the worst could happen. And, you know, my sister-in-law ended up encouraging me to go, and, you know, I had to kind of you know, put that fear in its place and continue on the journey anyway. And it was the most fulfilling time. You know, I got to my destination, I flew to the Grand Canyon, and, you know, I talked to people, I got to get to know the people that were there, and, you know, it was a really awesome experience. And, you know, you never say so much, can you take my picture, as, you know, as much as you do when you're traveling solo, because you are at the mercy and kindness of other people when it comes to taking a picture, unless it's, you know, especially if it's outside the realm of a selfie. And, you know, that was a wonderful experience. And then I was able to fly back home and be back in the loving arms of my family at the same time within a couple of hours. And then, you know, my next solo trip would be, you know, packing up my entire life, leaving life as I knew it behind, and, you know, putting my life into a couple bags and moving here to China. And that is and has been the ultimate solo journey, because I've had to create a life for myself and establish and root myself in a new place. And, you know, I've had the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want, under no one's supervision but my own and God's. And, you know, it's been an amazing learning experience, and it's taught me so much about who and what I do value. And so much so that it has taught me that I really personally don't value solo travel. You know, yeah, I don't have to, you know, confer with anybody about what we're going to do today, or, you know, be limited or be quote unquote limited by what they want to do and when they want to do it and what they want to eat and when they want to eat. But you know what? I like sharing those moments with people. I like sharing that time of love and laughter. And I wouldn't have realized it without going on these solo trips. So I think it's very important that we do experience solo trips, you know, so that we understand, you know, is this for me? Like, where I'm going, is it a place that I want to share this experience in love and with fellowship with people that I love? Or is this a time for me that I'm self-exploring and going on a journey that I need for myself? And then letting that be the barometer in which you decide, you know, am I going to travel solo, or is this something that I want to do with someone else? And so my most recent solo journey has been going to Beijing. And I gotta admit, you know, I've been in a little mood lately, and, you know, I wanted to be alone. At least I thought I wanted to be alone, because once I got to Beijing, I missed one of my best friends here so much, and I regretted not traveling with her, and us traveling together and journeying together, you know. And I realized how much I missed just laughing with her, and how, you know, when it comes to meeting new people on the solo journey, you know, that inside joke or that understanding that you have of one another about how you see the world and what you find funny doesn't come as easy, because these people don't know you. And so that's for me a con of traveling solo. But also, you know, a pro of traveling solo is that you get an opportunity to meet people. You get an opportunity to to open yourself up to having conversation with strangers and getting to know them and where they come from and what brought them here and what they plan to do while they're here. And sometimes you establish really great connections with people that you never otherwise would have made if you were being comfortable with somebody else. But luckily the people that I travel with, they're also very outgoing and talkative people, and they're inquisitive and they want to get to know other people and the culture of where we're going. So, we talk and interact all the time. So I think that's very valuable. And someone asked me how has my experience here in China been? And my experience here has been wonderful. I've learned how to encourage myself. I've learned how to love myself, how to realize that even when I'm alone, I'm not lonely, and, how to feed myself properly and with good food that has integrity, and how to take care of myself, and all these things solo travel teaches you. But what I've also realized is that I really, really love being around my family, and I love having their love around me and to surround me and keep me. So, I value that, and I want to keep that close to me. I think that my experience here with my students has taught me that, it's very valuable to get to know other cultures and people and to travel and expand your horizons. But, when we have this wanderlust and we start to feel like things around us aren't good enough, getting around a whole new environment and being alone can teach us that, wow, what we have and what we had has been and is amazing to us. But going back to that article that I was telling you about, the idea that solo travel can make you undateable, I think is actually a very, very interesting idea, because when you get into a habit of doing only what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, I can see how that can translate into your relationships of being selfish and only, doing those things that you want to do, and seeing yourself is so important, and putting your own happiness first. And when we're in relationships, that requires us to look at the other person's life and to help them to be as happy as we can help them be. And so Hostel World published an article saying solo travel makes you undateable. And so I agree that, solo travel is life-changing and it's liberating. And so Hostel World says it's all true. You'll learn your biggest lessons in love, life, and the beautiful planet we share. You'll change as a person, and your very core will be strengthened. You'll never depend on another. You will be a true master of your own destiny. Meeting new people will become a daily occurrence, and that will quickly teach you never to settle for less. You will establish your tribe, a mixture of old friends and new. Initially, you'll let all kinds of weird and wonderful people into your life, but you'll quickly learn to be discerning about who sticks around. And I totally agree with that. You meet so many different people, and in the beginning they sound and they look great and amazing, and on the outside it's shiny and gold, but really it's just gilded on the outside, and deep below you'll find that there are some people that are that have been traveling the world now for years and years and years, and they don't know where they belong or who they belong to. And so that kind of makes them kind of incompatible with you, because you have a place that you belong and who you belong to. And so those people, just like you have in your everyday life, you'll just find that they're not compatible. And so, meeting different people and moving from place to place all the time, you can get lost. You can lose your sense. Meeting people and moving from place to place all the time, you can get lost and lose your sense of, your bearings about, who you are and where you belong. And, you can have so many, it's like the dating world with online dating, you can have so many options and be inundated with so many choices that you can't make a choice, because you're afraid that by making a choice, you're going to miss out on something else. And that is absolutely not true. And you know, sometimes making the choice is the right choice, and choosing our destiny is living with the choices that we've made, and standing firm in those things. You know, it's not, oh, well, this person does this, swipe left. You know, this person has this quality, swipe right. Oh, this person doesn't like it or loves to be around family, swipe left. You know, so we